Good evening and welcome to the Simply Colorful FiberCast. Today's date is April 13th, 2018. My name is Lynn and I'm your host. Welcome. I'm so glad you could join me. We are kicking off another mystery quilt and it is fun. Is there nothing like the promise of a new quilt to get you excited? I know I have been excited since yesterday. And before that even, but now I know exactly what I'm doing, so I'm really quite excited. So today on FiberCast, this is all about sewing together, so grab a project. If you're doing the mystery quilt, we're going to go over every little detail of Clue 1, and we're also going to talk about the MQX festival, and we're going to end with a Robert Frost poem. It's April, spring is coming, next Monday is Patriots Day, and we're going to have a Boston Marathon starting right up the street here. And some of our friends, our quilting friends, Denise, good luck. Many more of you are going to be running and we wish you luck. So anyway, welcome. I have so much to tell you. It's been such a busy week of quilting. I have had the week off. I took a vacation. But I'll tell you about that after we get going on the mystery quilt. For anyone who has not or who is interested in doing a mystery quilt, it's free and it's available. Here's Clue 1 is available on the Simply Colorful website. So just go to www.simplycolorful.com and look for the 2018 Spring Fling Quilt. And Clue 1, I think, is on the front page. I think I posted it there first thing this morning. I was up early. It's also available on Facebook, either in the Simply Colorful group or page, and the Simply Colorful Mystery Quilt Along group, which belongs to everyone. So if you haven't joined that and you want to do this, definitely join there so you can post pictures of it. And finally, for our patrons, thank you very much for those of you who have supported this endeavor. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And we are going to do more of this tomorrow morning here in the studio behind the patron wall. If anyone wants to know more about Patreon, go to www.patreon.com/simplycolorful. Okay, enough of all of that. Carol says hi. Hi, Carol. I just heard the click. I should say, or the ding, I should say, as we get started, if you have any questions, send them to lynn@simplycolorful.com and I will read them and together we will figure this out. Carol says, looking forward to seeing you create the Spring's Mystery Quilt. Happy sewing. Thank you, Carol. You can make it with us, or you can wait and watch for a few weeks and see if it's anything that's of interest. You may have noticed on Clue 1, the pieces are rather small right now. We're starting out small. Okay, let's start from the top. If anyone was with us back in 2014 when we did the Crocus and Daffodil Mystery Quilt, this is somewhat similar, just to give you a feel. There's going to be a lot of cutting and piecing and putting back together, okay? Today's the first clue, so let me start right at the top. This is going to be a 7-week challenge. We will go over every clue here, starting tonight, April 13th, then next Friday, the 20th, Friday after that, the 27th, then May 3rd, and it's not a Friday because Mom and I are driving out to see KB on Friday, so we're going to have that clue a day early. Then another clue on May 11th, clue 6 on May 18th, and then the reveal on Friday before Memorial Day on May 25th. So it's a 7-week span, something good to get us from here in chilly New England to really having some flowers blooming out in the garden. This will be fun to do. The overview of Clue 1 is in this first clue, we are going to do two things. We're going to make a swatch sheet, and then we're also going to make 9 patch blocks called 1. We're going to make 2 different flavors, 1A and 1B, and I'll get to that in a minute. But before we dive into those, let's talk about the size options and fabric requirements. There are 4 size options to this quilt. I did that because this is designed in EQ8, and the yardage estimates are seem to be quite generous. So I worry that if we make the big quilts and we invest in that much yardage, I don't want you to have too much extra. So what I'm suggesting is we all do the throw sized, which is a good size square, 68 inch by 68 inch. I bought that much fabric. Let's see how we do and how much extra we have. I have not bought any backing fabric because I want to see what I have extra, and I'll use that for the backing and or the binding. I want this to be affordable. I originally thought I would do it scrappy, but then because of time constraints and a lot of other things that I have going on, I thought, why don't I just continue my Kona challenge and get some nice Kona cottons. I'm realizing my glasses are awfully dirty. Get some nice Kona cottons and an inspiration print. And all I did was I looked for 1/4 yard of inspiration print, and I settled on this Tula Pink, which really, as I look at it, I know the colors are much brighter, but it's almost like a William Morris. It's called Tabby Road. And you know, what I didn't even notice until just now, which is even more brilliant, is remember on the salvage, they print out the dyes they use. That can become your palette. So did I just say brilliant? I cracked myself up. Anyway, it's kind of a good idea, right? You have these designers who know what colors go together. They design a pleasing fabric to you. Well, what colors did they use? And you go and you look on the salvage, and there are the colors. And that's what you can use to choose your 9 colors for this quilt. So that is what I did. And I want to show you my swatch. So again, for this quilt, I recommend starting out with throw. I know Becca down in Georgia was going to start with the throw size. Certainly you can go for a king right away. Go for it. Let's see how it goes. I did size it. I do have patterns for all 4 sizes, so we have that. And we just went over the tip for selecting fabric. So let's talk about the swatch. On the 3rd page of the clue, and you'll notice the clue doesn't get into very much specifics about actually making the block, but we'll come back to that. I did that on purpose. I actually thought we've all been quilting long enough, or I hope so, that part of the mystery and part of the challenge is I'm going to tell you the size of the block and what it should look like, and then you can choose your favorite method of creation. We're going to go over 2 different methods for this very simple 9 patch block. But first, let's talk about your swatch. This can be really useful. Print this out, and maybe you're not going to go with the exact colors I've used. That's fine. Again, pick an inspiration fabric, pick 9 colors that have a lot of contrast, and label them A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. And then literally take a glue stick, if you have one, or a stapler or something, and put those colors right there. And then there's no guessing. There's no, is that a magenta or burgundy, or getting them switched? You can always go back and see. This dark blue and this very dark blue, they're awfully similar. I can always go back to my key and know which is which. It's just an aid. It's like when Bob came home from the hospital and the doctor said, get yourself a whiteboard. Put your schedule up on the whiteboard. It's just one less thing that your brain has to think about, but it gives you context. So this is our equivalent, our swatch sheet. Okay, so let's get sewing. If you go to page 4 of clue 1 of our mystery quilt, you will see there are 2 types of 9 patches. And I have made, or I'm almost ready to make, some examples. I made us using my nice little board here. I don't know if you can see this. I hope you can. For clue 1, we're going to make 52 block 1As and 13 block 1Bs. If you were making the double, you'd be making 21 of those and 84, and you can read the rest. But for the throw, we want to make 52 of these and 13 of these. I made about half of what I need an hour ago, and here they are. I made them using strips of fabric, of 1.5-inch fabric. These are supposed to finish at 3 inches. So each square starts out being 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch. I did this the strip piecing way, and I've got the strips cut out to make them that way. These, I only need 13. I have the strips cut out, so I do anticipate doing most of them by strips, but I did cut out the individual squares, and I wanted to talk about webbing and show that method too. So again, for this clue, all we're doing are these 9 patches, and the individual patch ends up being 1 inch big. This block ends up being 3 inches finished, so 3.5 inches. And it will be a building block to our mystery, our Spring Fling mystery. Okay, so let me aren't these colors yummy? If I do say so myself. Oh, and I meant to bring up the Martha Stewart magazine. The newest one has green. It's a seat on the cover. It came today, and I meant to bring it up. It has the most beautiful palette. It's just greens and maybe a maple wood. For anyone out there who's seen it, maybe you could send me a picture, or I can look for it. Don't send me a picture. But I loved the color of it. So anywho, I also like these. And let's put these a little bit aside, and let's focus on making 13 of block 1B. And I'm going to put this all over here. I have my iron, my trusty iron. And I can put my clue away. Just print out your clue. Again, the clues are available either on the Simply Colorful website or on Facebook. I tried to include some links in there. So here we have a block. We're going to do each of these pieces is 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. And we're going to web this little block together. So that's one method. If you were doing this a scrappy quilt, which you definitely could, if you have time, this is going to be a wonderful scrappy quilt pattern. And someday I will, well, no, don't say that. I would like to do it in scrappy someday, but I tell you, I have more projects and ideas than I have days left. So I'm not going to say I will do that someday. All I'm doing is I'm turning these little patches over systematically. One, doot, 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 doot. And it feels good to be back in the saddle again. And then, so I have this, my scissors, right? So here's this. I'm going to finger press this one way, that way. This one I'll finger press the other way. Just as long as you're consistent in your pressing, it will work. So now I finger press those 3. Now I'm going to put this one on there, that one there, and that one there, keeping them webbed together. I changed my thread to a gray. I'm using Aurifil. There we go. Ta-da! Okay. Okay, and now just make sure I finger press them going the right way. See that? So now I'm ready to just flip this over. And the seams nest. They should nest. Anyway. When you're nesting the seams, if at all possible, the top seam, have that be facing your foot, because then it really sets it down in. And here we go. Could clue 1 be any easier? I don't think so. I wanted to ease us back into this because it's been a long time since we've done one of these old-fashioned pieces of quilts. We had the color wheel quilts, which was such fun, the scrappy square dance in the fall, and then we made baskets in the winter. I think I've got that right. Da-da-da, who's there? Hey, KB. KB says, I'm here. Sorry, I'm late. Hi, it's okay. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. We are making clue 1 of the mystery quilt. And I've just finished webbing 1 square of 1B. I'll show you. And then we're going to do the strip piecing. Da-da-da. I got this idea. KB has done a quilt with these small squares that's stunning. And we will be showing that probably next week if she gives me permission to show it on the air. You may have seen it. She finished it out when we were out at Missouri's Quilt Company. Okay, so there is one of our blocks. That one is 1B. Again, we need 13 of those. And then this one is A, and we need 52 of those. Okay, so we could keep doing them like that webbing, and I like how that works. 1, 2, 3.5. It's coming out a good size. If anything, it's a little bit bigger than this one, which is fine. Yeah, they're both coming out fine. Okay, now what I want to do is the strip piecing way. So I cut out my strips, and I'm going to piece yellow, magenta, or burgundy. Yellow, burgundy, yellow. They should be about the same size. So this is mystery clue number 1. KB, the mystery clue is on the Simply Colorful website or on the Facebook page if you want to do it. I know you're really busy with your launch. Oh, so nice to be back in front of my Bernina. If you can believe it, I have met 1, 2, 3 people in the last week who just got themselves a new Bernina. Color me jealous. KB says, oh, what does KB say? KB says, spring has sprung. The peeper frogs are singing. Aw, she says, I've got my fabric all ready to go. Can't wait to get started. Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, do your swatch. Did you see my swatch thingy? If you want. Oh, good. I can't wait to see your colors too. But I made my swatch sheet. Let's see who else is out there. I said hi to Carol. Ooh, Marathon Monday. Ooh, Steve says we're doing the usual pre-race bagel party if anyone is interested. Heck yeah. Well, it's going to be raining on Monday. I'm such a fair weather fan. And I have to work, so I think I might not be able to do that this year. Some years, remember KB has even come out for this, for Patriots Day and the marathon. I have fond memories of being over at Maxine's. Our neighbor Maxine, where we used to live, she would have her children come. She would invite them to her house, and she would host them for the whole weekend, and they would bring their trailers. I've probably talked about this. And they would set up their RVs, and then we were right across the street. So a few years there, we had RVs in our yard too, and it was just so fun. And we basically ate and drank all weekend, and then walked up the street and watched other people start their Odyssey running 26 point, I should know that. Is it 0.2 miles? Okay, so there's one. Excuse me. But this year it's supposed to rain. And like I said, I have to go back to work. I have learned so much this week and experienced a lot of fun things. So what can I tell you first? Let me tell you about the retreat up in Henniker, New Hampshire last weekend. Thank you for putting up with our raucous crowd, although there weren't that many of us were there. That was really fun. We were right there in the dining room of the Henniker Inn. We'd sewn by the river all day. And it was beautiful. And we could walk across the street to Quilted Threads if and when we needed anything, or to look at Bernina's. Bernina 700s. In fact, Joan, if you're out there, I loved your machine. I covet your machine. And oh, and hi to all of your sisters, Maureen and Mary, and your brothers. It was so nice to meet you and Sharon. Last weekend's sewing retreat, of which there were only 7 of us total, was kind of a spur of the moment thing that a few of us decided we would take a weekend. And the innkeeper had met a couple of other quilters and connected us so that we could all meet each other and quilt together. And it worked very well. It was lovely. So no matter how, and there, like I said, there were 7 of us. So Joyce, it was great to see you, and Sue and Deb from California. Deb took the red eye out to do it with us. And I highly recommend it. It's just good fun. Okay, so now I'm going to do this middle one, so it'll be red, yellow, red. Talk about 9-patch 101, right? So that was lovely. Then I came home for 2 days. I felt like, what did I have to do? I had to get labels on our TBI quilts. I did a whole handout to bring to our quilt guild meeting on Tuesday night, where Joan surprised us, by the way. It was great to see Joan there. What a nice surprise. Joyce and I about fell off our chair. And I made this nice elaborate handout, and I have a plan. April 25th, we're delivering them. I forgot the handout. So, but I remembered all the quilts, and we put labels on them all, and we're ready to deliver them on the 25th of April. That'll be good. And, oh, I had to do a mailing for work, you know, and yada, yada, yada. Life was busy. And then Tuesday night, after the Quilt Guild meeting, I drove up to Manchester because I had a class that started at 8 a.m. the next day. Now, yes, I could have gotten up, and I should have, and next time I will. I thought I had classes on Tuesday when I made the original hotel reservation, but they didn't start till Wednesday morning at 8. So anyway, I got up there, had a good night's sleep, got up, and I spent 8 hours in a classroom learning the software. It's called Creative Stitcher 7. It goes with my Statler Gamel, and I loved it. I have so much to learn. So much. Oh, I guess I could iron this and figure out which way to do it. So much. But I learned how to do things that I'm going to practice on the quilt behind me. Do you remember I was working on this last week? My Goodnight Irene quilt? I finished it, or I finished the top. So now I can practice drawing this quilting design with my software. And then I can even take a picture of this, which I've already done, and I can put it in the software, and then I can overlay the quilting patterns. In theory, I've done it once in class. So I hope very soon I can show off to you and show you that I can do that too. Let's see. This is where you want to make sure to nest your seams. I guess it doesn't matter, this first one. Hang on. I just dropped it. So send me your pictures and questions at Lynn@Simply Colorful, and I'll check that account in just a second. For anyone who's new here, just know that FiberCast really is not a training video, so I apologize if you thought you were going to learn something new right away. It's more just a check-in and a virtual sewing bee for all of us who, on a Friday night, oh, I dropped my thing again. Hang on. There we go. It's just an hour of us sewing together because it is amazing what we can accomplish in 60 minutes. Okay. There's that. We're in our 5th year of doing this, and I have said many times I never would have accomplished so much if not for having this discipline of just doing this once a week. And I really hope you'll join me. And for those of you who are joining me, hello, Evelyn and Peggy and Wendy and so many, too many to name, really. Maxine, Sandra, Norma, Marquet. Sometimes I find when I do these strips, I don't know if you do this, but I waver, I go a little out. So I have been known to go back and see I wavered here. It's slight, but I'll go back here. And I'll show you. See how I caught that little bit where I had wavered so that it's a nice straight 1/4 of an inch. Okay. I tell you though, the machine quilting business is booming. There were a lot of people at the show, and a lot of vendors. I saw Michelle Weaver. We had a nice conversation. I thanked her, told her I love my machine. I met my new dealers, Mary and I think it's Ken or Tim, oops, from 12th Stitch in New York, up in Syracuse. So now what I have been doing, or I did earlier, is to let's do the third one here first. Who's sewing with me? Oh, that's right. I was going to check and see. Are you making the mystery quilt yet? I know this was a little fuzzy getting started, so I certainly can appreciate if you haven't. Hi, Anne. Anne says, hi, Lynn and FiberCasters, all the FiberCasters. She says, I love the quilt you were doing at your retreat last week. It's going to look stunning when finished. Thank you. There it is. It's that Goodnight Irene pattern I really like. Very easy to make. And this I made with the charm squares, but you could use 2-inch or 2.5-inch scraps. I would make another one of these. Anne says, this week I've been busy crocheting together all the squares I knitted whilst the hubby was in the hospital. I'm using a dark gray to frame all the colors. Ooh, and I love the way it's coming together. And my grandson is eyeing it up. LOL. So I think when it's finished, I'll be losing it. Oh. This afternoon, I had another go at wet wool felting, and I'm very pleased with it. And I have lots of ideas for other designs. Anne says, I hope you and everyone has a fantastic weekend. Quilty hugs. Anne in Guernsey. And I'm downloading her pictures. And downloading. Cannot download attachment. Let me back out. Error. Okay, I bet it's because I had to change my password. Hang on. When I logged in. Accounts. Gmail. Re-enter my password. This is going to assume that I can remember it. Okay, now we should be able to update our Gmail, which you would think that doesn't make sense because you're telling me to send my emails to lynn@simplycolorful.com. Well, I have them forwarded to my Gmail account. So that's why. Hey, and you're out there, including a Google security alert. Lynn, someone signed into your Google account with a new password. Yes, that was me. Okay, so Anne, let's see if we can see those pictures. Oh, look at this. It's a butterfly. I had hoped. That is neat. That is literally fibers that Anne has felted using a felting tool into a background of felt, I believe. Oh, and I see why your grandson is coveting that. Look at that fun Afghan. How big are those squares? Those look great. Oh, and they have hearts, and I love the different patterns you used. Really nice. I'd like to make one of those. Oh, Thank you for writing. I know it's late there, and I'm just so glad that you're always on. Speaking of the UK and it being late, hello, Carol. Carol says, hi, Lynn and FiberCasters. Hope everyone is well and keeping busy. She says, I am just watching tonight and looking forward to the mystery quilt. Oh, good. I have downloaded the first clue and will work on the quilt when I have finished some bits that I'm working on. I hear you. I saw you made the bag. Very nice. Or actually, you made the, not the sewed together bag, but the other one. I can't remember the name of it right now. I found... Carol says, I found a bag similar to the pattern that you were working on as a downloadable pattern. To be honest, I did not find it the easiest thing to make, but I'm happy with it. I know what you mean. I want to make another because I feel like I've learned in the process and the next one will be easier. Just to let you know, I think the Crowdcast is so much fun. Oh, good, good. We're going to do it again tomorrow. I haven't set it up. I'm still learning that. I'm glad. So Crowdcast, for anyone out there, if you would like to meet your other FiberCasters, literally talk to them, see their face, talk back and forth, show what you're working on from your studio, from your sewing niche, from your lovely place in the world. We're using this thing called Crowdcast. It's in Patreon for as little as $2 a month. You can come in and join us. And to tell you the truth, Saturdays is going to work better for me to turn it on while we're testing it. In the future, I want anyone who's inside Patreon to be able to use it and start it up. That's my goal. So let's see how that goes. But Carol, thank you for the feedback. I'm very pleased that you like it. And look at your bag. That's lovely. Everyone see that? And that's not easy to do. You had some directional fabric there. That's a beautiful job. Wow. Look at those stripes. Thanks for sharing. Ding! No, say it isn't so. Is Maureen out there? Oh, so happy to be tuning in tonight. I love the quilt behind you. Thank you, Maureen. Maureen in Pennsylvania. Good night, Irene from MSQC, Missouri Star Quilt Company. Yay! Oh, and Sue Norton says I'm here too. Phew, tuned in at 7:15. Hope I didn't miss anything. Happy Friday. You didn't, Sue, and I love seeing all of your updates and your travels. You didn't at all. And I just realized I'm double booked tomorrow. I can't do the Crowdcast tomorrow morning because I have my Textile Tarts meeting. It starts at 10 and goes to 2. So I guess maybe Sunday it is this week. Okay, so we I'm going to do a yellow on the other side. I need to nest these and show you how I cut them. I love when I start a new quilting project, I think to myself, this time I'm going to be accurate and precise, and I'm going to iron everything the right way. This one got a little off track, so I'm going to go right over it and stay straighter. There we go. Okay. So now we have our 3 strips done. What we want to do is start out with 2 of the strips and lie them on your cutting mat so that they're nested. For a good 10 inches or so. Here we go. See this? Then we'll re-nest them and reline them up. Then I line them up and I start to cut them acrosswise while they're nested at widths of 1.5 inches. And then they're all nested and ready to sew just like this. So like I say, on this mystery quilt, I'm not getting into the specifics of how many strips to cut or just how many patches. I'm just telling you the final number and size of what you need. And then each of us can use our own best case method. There are so many rulers out there these days. Okay, that's enough for now. In fact, I noticed that at MQX, a lot of rulers. Now let me make sure. Okay. And now I just chain piece this. It feels so good to just get in front of the machine. Oh. Doesn't it? We only need 13 of these, so I should count how many I have. And I've already done 1 here. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Here's 8. Okay, so I'll reline these up, the end here. I'll clean this up right here. There. Okay, 8, 9, 10. I hope I've done it right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11. 12. 13. Okay, leave that. These colors remind me of BC colors or of Norwich colors, although I don't know if Norwich is, I think Norwich is maroon and white, isn't it? See my, I hope you can see enough of my machine. Oh, this is new. This plate for my QE 440, I used to have one and then I broke it and I never replaced it. You know, for years I've been using the bigger acrylic table. And I like this for these little projects. I don't need a big one. 13. And yes, I did look at the Berninas. Mom, you can get up off the floor. I didn't buy one, and I don't plan to. I just couldn't find a compelling reason why I needed one. Do you believe that? So now I set my seams. So this is the strip piecing method. As long as I iron them all the right way, all the same direction, they seem to work well. How fun is this? This is my favorite kind of sewing. Doot, 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 doot. Or one of my favorite kinds. People who don't sew must think this is just crazy, huh? In fact, the band is playing and they have some visitors downstairs. So I stocked the fridge and I made them brownies and I've set them up with all sorts of goodies. And I had to excuse myself to do this. Of course, I'm thinking to myself, I would so much rather be doing this than be down there. Okay. What I really wish is that one of the band wives liked to sew. That would be fun. And we have done that in past. Karen, Mike's wife, has sewn with me on a Friday night, and that was fun. But she wasn't into it quite as much as I was. Okay, so I should show you. We have 13 or 12 of these. The 13th one here is all done. Now what I need to do is make sure to iron this final strip the right way. Actually, I guess it doesn't matter, does it? It doesn't. That was just so sad to hear about that bus full of hockey players up in Canada. Kelsey, if you're out there, thank you for making them a quilt. I might have an extra one after April 25th that we could send up to the families. Okay, so, well, it doesn't matter. I just need to cut 12 of these. Same deal. I lie it as straight as it will go. In fact, I'm going to start right there. For whatever reason, my ending is listing to the right. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I'll move this over. Sorry if you can't see me. Sorry about that. Oh, I love to see everyone's work. And I hope your husband is getting better every day. One, 2, 3, 4. Now something happened here, either my pressing or my sewing. Can you see how this is a little bit not square? So I'm hoping I can throw that one out. 1, 2, 3. I have enough here. 4, 5, 6. Okay. So now all we have to do is take this and this, and they nest up beautifully. And here we go. You see, who else is out there? Sue, I'm so glad you're out there. Diana, hi, Diana. Diana says, hi, I'm here again also. I've had so much fun watching you. Oh, thank you, I'm glad. Are you making lots of quilts? She says, I love quilting along. Happy spring. I wish I could make your mystery quilt, but I need to finish my curved piece strawberry quilt. We understand. Oh, and I just bought a new 590 Bernina and absolutely love it. Oh, good for you. It has all the bells and whistles of the bigger Berninas, but smaller throat plate and half the price of the big ones. Diana in Oregon. Oh, that's great. And it's a Bernina. It's just built to last. What have we got here? This is a, oh, I love this. Hey, hi, Joyce. I think this is Joyce. Look at that, Quilter's Choice. Half square triangle quilt. That is stunning. Joyce, I was thinking of you. Now that I know how to use the software, we should talk about a partnership. Maybe we could try quilting one of these for the sale rack, right? Maybe something different from just an all over. Maybe we do something in that white. Let me see how this comes out and I'll show you. She says, Joyce says, hi, Lynn, I'm working on my quilt from the blocks I put together at our getaway. Fun to be sewing with you tonight. Aw, fun to be sewing with you too. I thoroughly enjoyed being with you up in New Hampshire. And that pork chop comment, I will never giggle. I will never forget that. So funny. Okay. If anyone out there is in the Millbury, Massachusetts area, go check out the Millbury Cake Shop. I think that's the name of it. Maureen Benjamin's quilts are still up there, and they're beautiful. She does beautiful work. So if you need a gift, a shower gift, a baby gift, a birthday gift, the quilts on the walls are for sale. And I've told her I will get out there with a camera this month. So that will be within the next week. Tomorrow, we're going to learn how to make paper beads over at our Textile Tarts. If anyone's in Northborough, come join the Textile Tarts meeting. Sue and Mary Ellen are going to teach us that. And I have to get out to the garage before that meeting and pick up sticks. I literally have said I would go through Bob's wood. He has pieces of wood from his previous woodworking that's down on the floor, and they're long strips, several feet long, and they're maybe 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch thick and about 1 inch wide. And I'm going to cut them into pieces and use them as the marionette sticks at the top of a puppet or a doll, because we're all going to make marionettes in June. So I thought if everyone had a couple of those pieces of wood, they wouldn't have to worry about that. I'll bring a drill, I'll bring some thread. And then of course I have it. Al and others found the directions for how to string a marionette. So we'll be engineering some marionette puppets before you know it. Yay! 3 more left. How are we doing out there? Hey! Well, I'm not done, but after this, I think we're going to call Clue 1 of FiberCast. And I am halfway done with these, so I'll do another set of strips before next week, and then I will have my throw done. And again, so let's recap. What did we do tonight? We talked about the mystery quilt. It's a 7-week long challenge. It's free. The clues will be posted most Friday mornings, except for the first week of May, on the website simplycolorful.com or on the Facebook page, the Simply Colorful Mystery Quilt Along page. Join it if you would like to share pictures. And let's see. There are 4 size options. I'm encouraging you to start with the throw size just to see how the yardage estimates go. Start with a inspiration fabric. I started with this Tula Pink. And pick your colors. Use the palette. Use the salvage. Look at those colors there. And pick your colors. And then this week, it's just about creating these 9 patches. Each week, it'll be a different set of patches. It's really old-fashioned piecing. And it really is so gratifying just to be in front of the machine and turn these little pieces of fabric into bigger pieces of fabric with design, with repetition. It's going to be fun with imperfections. So that didn't match up. But I want to thank you all for being here with me. It's so fun to sew with you. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope the weather's good, either getting cool down in Australia or warming up in the States or in the UK, wherever you are. I hope that you do what you love to do. And I'll see you back here next Friday night. And I'll see patrons on Patreon this weekend at some point. Okay. Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining me.